Mhm. And I just really hope I don't sound really shitty with this mic.
Amateur. You'd think
All right.
ODYF could buy you a decent mic.
Well, I do have one. It just wouldn't connect today.
I've got one up here.
So yeah,
so
I'm left.
it's out the way. You can't see it, it's off camera, but hopefully it's picking us up all right.
It is picking your sound up. Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Odys Talks, everyone. Naturally, this show's brought to you by Odys Global, your one-stop marketplace for age domains and websites, as well as several additional services such as EAT audits, topic clusters, 300 redirects, fully managed hosting, and you can also get domains and websites from us in installments. And if this is something you're interested in, just reach out to our team via our website, and they'll help you out. Today, I'm joined by two legends. It's Karl Hudson of Sarcher and Tim Schmidt of Website Rescue and Ice Cold Marketing. And today we're going to talk about agency growth and scaling your business, especially if you're in the SEO game, because every business is different, right? Guys, I know it's not your first rodeo here on Odys Talks, but still, guys, just go on and introduce yourselves, just a couple of words, whatever you want to highlight about yourselves. Once again, or something new. I don't know.
Tim, do you want to go first?
Go on, Karl.
Sure. Tim Schmidt. I've been in SEO and internet marketing since 2001. Done everything from e-commerce to agency to super affiliate to paid search, pretty much everything. These days, I'm doing a lot of affiliate and helping local businesses gain traction in Google and every other search engine while increasing social media traffic too. It seems like everybody's kind of branching on way past Google these days. So that's a focus we've been doing. But yeah, work with businesses of all sizes, small little, one-stop shop dentists and lawyers to global brands, increasing their search presence. And, on the side, like I'm heavy in affiliate, which is where I actually met Odys through buying domains from them. There's so many good domains there. So I've got a lot of projects that do that. But yeah, been doing it a very long time. I enjoy doing it, and I'm here in South Florida. So hello, everybody.
I'll go next then. Hi, I'm Karl. I've been
Thanks, Tim.
very similar to
Karl.
Tim. I've been involved with the SEO game and digital marketing for seems like an age now. Recently had an exit from a gambling company that we set up and scaled from pretty much negative 50K a month up to 2.4 mil, I think, at the time of exiting. So yeah, that went pretty well. Then in that time, kind of launched SearchRoo. SearchRoo was originally designed to help build, to help work on our assets, because we had a lot of links and a lot of linkable assets, and then that kind of developed from there. We then used SearchRoo, the team behind SearchRoo, to help rank our own brands, and then at the same time, any customers that kind of come on board, it kind of became like a outsourcing for SEOs. So SEO agencies outsource to us, e-commerce sites outsource to us. Anyone can basically buy links from us, and we'll help them out with strategy and things like that. And that's kind of it in a nutshell at the moment. Got a lot of other things as well, investments, stuff like that. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. One more thing I forgot to mention is that both of you are mentors at Odys. Obviously, with all your experience and knowledge in all things SEO, affiliate marketing, link building, business management, business growth, you are the go-to people to talk to whenever anyone has any issues or constraints to solve, to tackle. So yeah, that's one more thing. And this is going to be the last mentor series episode for the time being. So starting off with next week, we will get back to the standard format. We'll get some hopefully fresh faces, but even if they're not going to be fresh faces, let's say, they're still going to be amazing people that you can learn from. All right, I'm your host, Vlad the Lad. Let's kick it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are.
Why does it take so long to launch? Did you hear anything? Because I didn't.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
You did? All right, good.
Yeah.
Then it worked. Then it worked. All right. So as I mentioned from the get-go, we're going to talk about business scaling and agency growth with the tint of age domains and affiliate marketing as well. So, guys, considering your current position and state of things in your respective companies, areas, professional and expert areas, what key strategies have you found most effective in scaling an agency from a small operation to a larger, like more robust business?
Well, personally, from a search-through point of view, obviously the key to us was we already had a lot of SOPs and processes in place from the outreach point of view. Obviously, we already had a decent sized database and things like that. So scaling for us has been it's been interesting because it was never a focus. It's kind of something we're only just focusing on maybe in the last 8 months. So we're doing like Facebook strategies. Various business partners within the business are also going on different webinars, things like this. So trying to just build the brand awareness more than anything else. And that's kind of our focus right now, as well as actually, doing what we say we can do, because Search-Through's website was never really a focus on getting it ranking. So the last sort of 3 months, we've started focusing there and getting that rank, and it's coming up quite nicely now. So fingers crossed I don't get slapped by the end of this talk, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the same thing for me. I mean, I rebooted kind of in 2023. I had to exit in 22 and then stayed on and consulted with them for a while when I transitioned. But then same thing, building content on the site, creating awareness by appearing on podcasts, doing a lot of interviews. I found like it seems like if you do an interview with some website and you share your story, like 10 more will reach out to you and want to hear your story. And those free backlinks are obviously great for SEO, but your exposure too. And a lot of people that reach me now here locally in South Florida are like, wow, like I type in your name and I see all these articles about you doing things with different publications and your stories all over the place. And I've heard that like 3 times in the last 2 weeks, which is good. So I think just getting yourself out there is a really good way to grow an agency. Like Karl said, growing your brand and just going out there and your personal brand and your business brand is big. For me, since I do a lot of localized stuff with sometimes really small potatoes, business wise, as far as their operations, I get to know the consumer, the customer very, intimately, because it's one guy. Like, for example, I've got a mobile mechanic and he's a one-man crew. He goes around, he fixes car AC, car batteries, stuff like that. So, I talk to him and him only, and he knows his business inside out. But he also works with so many people and has contacts with so many people that growing your business can be as simple as, hey, we've worked together for a while, offer him something to get a referral, right? Anyone with a small business, you're happy with the results. It could be, hey, we're going to get you some digital PR links, or I'm going to do a free press release for you, or manage your AdWords for a month for free, whatever it is. Just offering something as a referral to your customers can help grow an agency kind of without putting any marketing dollars out there,
really. So what I hear from you guys right now is that one of the most crucial things here is exposure, like exposing yourself to all those new eyes, ears, audiences, right? But then there's still like the professional aspect, right? I mean, you can't just go out there and just boast about how great you are and your company are. You still have to show the results of your work, right? That matter. So how much time did it take you with your respective companies, agencies, to like build up this portfolio of the things that you would be willing to show other people, like your potential clients and new audiences, maybe new markets as well, that you haven't worked with in the past before that?
So within Search-Through, obviously we have a lot of assets. I think we have a lot of assets, local sites, things like this. Obviously do quite a bit of lead gen, things like this. So it was quite easy to be able to get a case study together of, how much money we spent, how many leads are being generated, how quick rankings occurred. The only thing we don't like to divulge is obviously we don't give away like organic keywords. We might say like it's current ranking for 2,000 organic keywords, but we're not going to say the positions and things like this. That's the only bit that we don't kind of give away, especially from a client point of view, because anyone who signs up is signed to an NDA, so we would never disclose, client URLs, things like that, without ever permission first. So, and even then, we'd probably still side on the area of like caution, just because obviously it's also the SEO industry. Chances are we put that out there, all of a sudden they're getting inboxed by 30 other guys saying they can do a better job within 10 days, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's kind of the route we went with it. So that's our approach anyway, for now.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, not showing the client stuff. But for me, it's been a constant build. I mean, you're always building new graphs, more referrals, more testimonials, more proof of what you do over time. And for me, being heavily involved in affiliate, I like to, share with customers that, hey, like I do these things for myself. I just don't do these on client sites like here. And I'm fine showing them my affiliate stuff because, there's a lawyer here in Florida that I work with, and he doesn't have any inkling to get into the travel space and start a travel blog like I do about, Central America, right? So I'm fine showing that. I'm like, look at this. Here's what it's done. Here's what I've done. Here's how long I've been doing it. Here's the trends it's been doing. So I think having those in-house projects that I'm not afraid to share is really good too. And like I said, you're always building those assets and accumulating those and showing people. Just being transparent is a very good way to, kind of sell yourself. And like, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's the projects I'm doing. I'm in this space, in this space, in this space. So yours, you've got a couple little keywords that are localized. I'm doing this globally, so I can deliver for you.
How do you find that goes down, Tim?
Nice. Yeah, well, one of the things.
So, sorry, Karl?
How do you find that goes down when you're chatting to the potential new guys?
Pretty good. I mean, like the proof is in the pudding. It's like people like to know that you're doing stuff and that you have projects and that you're active in the business. Just because you did really good with a little dental office doesn't mean you're going to do great for a lawyer or some other vertical that's totally different. So when I share these things with them, I think they see I'm a real person that's building things. I mean, most of my affiliate sites, especially in finance, we got the EAT, which is very big. Like my name and picture are on them. So they see I'm a real person out there doing things, putting in work every day. And I've had no one that's ever been turned off by that. If anything, it's more time in the field and doing things and showing that I really have projects. And I'm very transparent. Hey, this site's in Ahrefs. There's, 56,000 keywords currently in Google's index. Right now you have 100. Let's try to get you up. You know what I mean? And the small micro businesses obviously will never compete with something that you're ranking for globally, but it shows them that you're real and you've got some results in harder campaigns.
Yeah, I think one of my main challenges is obviously we've got a lot of lead gen stuff, but I'm kind of known as like the gambling guy because of the exit and stuff like that. So then the problem is I only ever get approached by gambling companies 9 times out of 10. And then it's also an industry that needs to spend money, but don't like to spend money. Sure. They want to try and do it within pennies as opposed to, they should be spending maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, if not more K per month on links. And then obviously as you get closer to the top, it gets even more expensive for some of the links that you need. But yeah, it's trying to cover that area is obviously a little bit difficult. And then sometimes they go, well, you're ranked in gambling. And like, yeah, it is a tough niche, but you're not going to have to spend anywhere near as much to rank for like something local, right?
For sure.
Yeah, I still remember the things you were telling me during our interview in was it Saigon or was it Tallinn? I think. Oh, damn, I can't remember. I think it was Saigon. After handling the casino stuff, the gambling stuff, and now pretty much moving on to local stuff. It's like cakewalk.
Sure.
Just chill. Yeah. What about the challenges? Like the most difficult challenges in terms of trying to scale whatever you have at hand, like agency wise.
For me, I would say you have to make sure you've got a team in place. because, back in the day, I'm talking 15, 18 years ago, I wasn't really comfortable with outsourcing. I mean, now I have a whole team and people across the world that help out with various tasks. But if you're not outsourcing and delegating things and you're trying to do it all yourself, you just can't grow because you're doing everything. And it's just an issue of time. So I think you have to be really trusting of people and make sure you've got SOPs in place that they can follow when you board a new client or you have a task for them to do. Because if you're trying to do it all yourself, you're just working and you don't have any time to grow.
I think one of my
I can hear mad singers there.
I think one of my core things in the background is obviously the SOP and creating a team's fundamental, but one of the difficulties is when you're like, say, naturally not a sales guy. So I'm naturally an SEO, right? I'm not a sales guy. I enjoy marketing. I enjoy that side, but I tend to focus primarily SEO paid ads, and I don't really go down the route of funnels and things like this. This is something we've just been diving into recently. And it's like, oh, wow. I thought I was a marketeer, but actually just turns out I'm an SEO guy and a paid ads guy. I know nothing about marketing. So I'm busy like learning that fundamentals there on like landing pages and developing that side and trying to create SOPs though. So a team it's at a point now where I'm going to just probably have to pay someone to apply their expertise, kind of like what Tim Schmidt said, and then have them create the SOPs for us because I don't have the time to focus and get upskilled to that point. I'd rather just pay someone to come in and do that for us. And then we've got at least a test bed to start with.
Yeah. Speaking of like getting someone to delegate to, right? One thing that seems very interesting and practical to me, I'd say, is a practical question: is which one was or is simpler for you to try and find someone with expertise, with their experience, and trust them with whatever you need to be done, or find someone eager to learn and like have this proper attitude and responsibility to take onto and just teach them to do the things you need them to do?
I think the problem there though will be, for instance, if it's not your mindset and it isn't your learning, you're going to be essentially trying to learn at the same time and teach them. So you're going to be a terrible teacher. In my opinion, you'd probably be better off hiring someone who's experienced and then hire both, right? Have the experienced guy train up the new guy who's going to hopefully be more invested in the business and stuff like that. That's what I would probably aim to, or what we are going to aim to do. Especially when it comes to like the sales arm, because we're just used to this at that element. Like we've had loads of customers throughout the years. Search has been going since I think 2018. So, but we're crap at like just retaining. So we almost, and typical with link builders, people of the SEO industry, they always move around. Like we've had the same faces, they do end up coming back, and it kind of just goes through the process. But if we can get better at retaining them, then that would be a win-win.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. You can't teach someone something that you don't know. That's very sage advice. I mean, I like to hire people that are smarter than me, to be honest. And my mentor told me that many years ago. Hire people that are smarter than you can learn from, not the other way around, because you need to expand your mind and grow your company with people that you can learn from. And when you do that, everything becomes a lot better. A segue into this, I saw we had a crazy commenter stalking us that asked a question. You guys know Kaz or Dash, obviously. If you look in the comments, he just asked me.
You're talking about this question?
Yeah, so he's hijacking the thing right here. It's Tears of Dorona, Kaz. You know that. I told you that in Vegas last year. I love it.
Thanks for your question, Kazra.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, I hear you guys. Getting back to our topic. All right, but getting back to scaling and growing the business, the agency. Considering the changes in the SEO community industry as such over the past couple of years at the very least, like because it seems like they were a lot quicker and a lot bigger, let's say. How did these changes impact your agency scaling attempts, endeavors, if you've had any during this period?
I think that.
Oh, go on then, Tim.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think that it's definitely a speed bump when there's a big update that hurts people. But I think you have to be transparent with your clients. Hey, this happened. Here's some links to what's going on. If you don't understand it, I'm happy to get on the phone with you and tell you what's going on. But these things have been happening forever. And yeah, it's progressively gotten harder to be an SEO with, Parasite SEO now and Reddit and just high authority sites, even taking over local niches. And of course, affiliate, don't get me started. But you have to be transparent with people. And if you're transparent about these things happening and you believe in the long-term process that you will find a solution, you will find other traffic sources, that's the best way to approach it and not let your agency kind of burn on fire and lose customers. But if you're not transparent with people on the process, they're like, oh, I hope they don't realize they've lost 40% of their traffic the last 3 months. Then you're in for a rude awakening. They're going to call you and be like, how did I not know about this? What's been going on? Why is it so bad lately? But I think like once you find out, hey, there's an update, we did not win in it, being transparent and talking to them about it, to me, has kept the agency and people's trust really like going.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say with
Karl?
especially with the dawn of AI, obviously that's changed things. I think it's almost helped in a step. Well, from an SEO point of view, anyway, for a lot of my own websites, it's helped dramatically. It saves so much time. Obviously, so much analysis you can do within just a few minutes, as opposed to maybe what was a few hours of staff time. So I think in that essence, it's helped. Obviously, from a content generation, obviously, if you're not adding unique elements to the content and you're just churning out AI crap, then you almost deserve to be slapped. And even as an agency owner, if you are just churning out AI without any proofreading or human element to it, then yeah, you probably do deserve to be slapped. But obviously, it's all just making sure that you have those SOPs in place so the right stuff gets done, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of AI, have you had a chance to check out this GPT-01 thing? I've only seen, I think, Julian Goldie's video.
What one in ChatGPT? Yeah, or
yeah, ChatGPT-01. It's like the most advanced version
but the
so
problem
far.
is you only get like 20 odd goes of it a day or something like that. So
so it's really limited at this point.
It goes through very quick, but it is way better. A lot less prompts needed to get the same end result, which is good.
All right, here's a question from Steven Kana for you. Did you just finish your workout?
Yeah, at like 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I was
at 6 a.m. Oh man. Yeah. All right. So it's obviously too early to talk about ChatGPT-01 at this point. But yeah, getting back to our conversation. What are some of the advanced SEO tactics that you've employed to drive growth for your clients in particular, and by extension for your agency? If you're not, if you don't mind sharing, let's say.
Well, one of the big ones for us is utilizing sort of age domains and then 301 redirect strategies, but obviously trying to acquire good domains, obviously like the ones that you guys sell, Odys, and making sure they are very niche specific or niche relevant, and then obviously coming up with a strategy to kind of tailor them in, even doing a press release to almost act like the business has acquired the other business, all these sort of natural elements to it. So there's almost justification for this redirect to occur, as opposed to you just doing it like off the cuff. And then sometimes what we also like to do is actually delay the redirect. So you might acquire the domain, obviously the whois information might change. It usually typically does, or at least it'll be updated at that point. And then we like to wait up to 3 months before we start the ball moving on a 301.
Interesting. Thank you. Tim, what about you?
Yeah. No, 301s are fantastic, and Odys has the best inventory for them. I've done it many, many times. I love it. For me, I think digital PR is something that doesn't get talked about enough. I know a lot of guys do it and it's expensive, but if you can run one of those campaigns for your clients, no one does it at a local level. I'll say that. National, of course, global, of course, but for local clients, those things are such game changers because no one's out there getting those kind of links, spending that kind of money. And it's a hard talk to have with your client when you're passing along that fee. But when you do it, I mean, there's just no one that can catch them in the market. So, you do that for a few months on end and you get, 5, 10, 15 just high power links from big sources. No one else gets those in localized niches. And that's just a way to really separate yourself from the pack. And it's not a secret or anything, but it's just something people don't talk about enough, especially on a smaller client kind of level.
That's actually that's something that we've just started doing for some of ours. And a local guy in the US, dumpster business, he absolutely skyrocketed, and he basically attributes it to the digital PR. So we did one campaign, but that one campaign was something like 24 different sort of stories that we had to craft for him, and we managed off the back of that to get, I think it was 85 links. Wow. And the average is like, obviously some of them are syndicated links, some of them aren't. Obviously, if they're syndicated, they don't count towards the link count. We typically do 10 guaranteed links, which are like non-syndicated, if that makes sense. But he landed like something like DR90s, DR84s, like about 10 or 15 of those. And then obviously some syndicated ones, and then DR30s. Anything below DR40, we kind of don't count towards the link count as well. But that just momentum, if he can, obviously he got 84 links. I think we charge $6,000, I think, at the moment. But when you break that down, it's not actually that costly. The problem is it's just that big cost up front for the customer, right? And if you don't land 80 links, it then becomes more costly, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, that it seemed to work really well in the local space. Like he's absolutely crushing it.
That's awesome.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about digital PR over the past several months. Well, from Ferric Azonia, of course. I mean, why wouldn't he share anything good about that?
Obviously, a cheaper way of doing that is kind of what we also touched on with the 301 redirect. So find obviously age domains that typically have links from these places, and then you can treat that as the a digital PR release in essence, because you're acquiring this domain that you're going to then 301 to yourself.
Yeah. One of the things as well. And speaking of age domains, what should agencies like the most crucial? What are the most crucial things that agencies who haven't dealt with age domains previously, what should they consider when getting them either for themselves, for the companies, or their clients?
Everything. They should probably speak to ODYS and get the nice checklist off them guys. That's what they should do. But yeah, from my point of view, there's loads of elements to consider. You should be looking at backlink profile, how toxic the domain is, what was the historic traffic and rankings like, has it just dropped like because the person's forgot, is there any copyright things going on, was there a website set up on it previously, has it been through a one readout? There's a huge list of it. So yeah, I would definitely just get in touch rather than you doing all that. Just pay the guys who do all that for you, and then it's a bit easier, I think.
Yeah, I mean that like you said, there's a laundry list of things to look for. Another one is, was that domain acquired and then probably set up to do something else in between before, when it was when it was a white hat site? Was it turned into a casino? It didn't work out, then they resold it. The anchor text coming to it. There's so many things to look for.
Yeah, I hear you guys, and yeah, you can book your coaching session with either Karl or Tim, and they'll help you understand whatever you need to understand about age domains and how to use them, and how to use them properly, I'd say, as well. And yeah, the things that you should look out for, and why you should basically trust us when it comes to age domains, because we have all the processes in place. Yeah, that's true. speaking of growing and scaling, and considering the fact that both of you are mentors, and Tim has mentioned one of his mentors previously, how big of a role mentors in your professional life have helped you to grow both personally and business wise?
I would say huge for me. Like, obviously, we all know James Dooley now. He was, I've known him for
Shout out to James.
10 years now. So he's kind of probably my closest mentor, stroke friend, stroke business partner. And that like relationships kind of developed over time. But, we're very open and honest with like each other. So we try and mentor each other as much as possible. And I think that kind of helps quite nicely. And he's always on the lookout for new guys. We're always adding into groups with new guys and chatting to them and mixing, obviously going to masterminds as much as possible is key, I think, fundamental to our strategy of growth as well, because you get to mix with great people, great minds like Tim and yourself, Vlad, and obviously you get to learn experiences that they've maybe had, or learn of experiences that you might think twice about doing yourself in the future and stuff like this. So yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you can learn from not only their successes, but their failures too. Everyone who's done really good things in life hasn't happened without a struggle at some point or something that they just failed at. And not only that, but like my mentor, we talk all the time. We, vacation together. He'll send a simple text, dude, you have to read this book. If you can't read it, get the audio. I know you drive a lot, like, going around places, whatever, get this book. It's a game changer. And vice versa. I'll tell him, hey, have you tried this? And it doesn't just deal with things like business, which is 90% of it, but like he's in his 50s, I'm 46 now. And it's like, hey, try this in your diet, try changing this, try drinking this before you go play pickleball or lift weights, like things like that. And just, we bounce ideas off each other. And more times it's him talking at me, but when I have something good, I'm like, hey, I found this, and I'm excited for it because I want to give back as well. But I think there's just so much to be said about that, and getting into groups like masterminds, obviously. Kazra, who came on earlier with the question, he's coming to Miami in a couple months. So are you guys coming to the lawyer show he's doing in Miami? Lawyer SEO, they're doing some big presentations. So I was talking to him the other day, planning on getting together. So yeah. And he said, hey, maybe we'll get together, just do a quick mastermind with some people. There's a lot of guys going, because I don't do any law SEO. I leave that to people that productize the business, like Ryan Stewart's in it. Great guy. Him, Kazra, some other guys, James Hennessy, I think, who's been on here.
Jason Hennessy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in it. So, those guys are pretty productized into that space, and that's awesome. But I don't mess with that. They can have that. I go other areas, but so yeah, it's cool having those groups.
Yeah, absolutely. I can say, like, from my own perspective, when I let's say first got into my first mastermind, which was last year's SEO Mastery, I was like really blown away by the way these like people that were with me at the table, like, who were like huge professionals in their own right, and they were so open and eager to share and eager to listen as well. Even though I've had like a completely different experience, professionally speaking, right, from what they've been doing. It's like the same attitude that you just highlighted. Like, there's also, this is always a two-way street. Like, you learn from each other at some point, start learning from each other at some point, at least. Yeah. By the way, what are the key traits you looking for in a mentor? Let's say. Well, I know it's a process. I understand that when you realize that a person is a mentor to you, you don't sit back and just pick a blank page and start scribbling like, okay, he's got these traits and those traits. You just understand that you can trust this person, you can learn from this person. But like, looking back, what would be, let's say, the key traits in a mentor you would be looking for?
Mine would be, they have to be able to have a drink and chill out. Just because, yeah, there's too many people who take life too seriously, I think. And I'm kind of one of them who wants to adopt a not take life too serious motto. So if I can't have a drink and feel comfortable with someone, then I could never, ever have them as a mentor. And then my second one would be someone who's also humble. So not necessarily boasting about their achievements and things like that, because that, to me, it's just like the biggest "you're a dickhead." Pardon the French. Like, that in my head is like the biggest turn off, if you see what I mean, from a mentor point of view. I get people are successful, but there's no need to, boast type thing about it. At least have that humility or humble attitude, I think, is key for me, and obviously my own personal experience.
Yeah, those are great points. And I think I can add on to that by someone who has a resume in something that you can relate to, right? Your mentor doesn't have to be in your exact niche or vertical that you're in, but someone who has gone down a path that you've gone. Maybe they come from the same area of the world. Maybe they went to the same college. Maybe they had the same job as you and they went down a path, and there's things you can take away where you have a lot of relevance together. For me, the biggest thing is just dependability, especially here in South Florida. A lot of people are known as being flaky, and they might be very successful, but when you call them, they won't answer their phone for weeks, days, months, So I think someone that's dependable, that like, hey, you might have a problem or something you want to solve on a Sunday morning or a Saturday night, and they're going to text you back. They're going to email you back or say, yeah, I can't talk right now, but let's do it tomorrow. Someone that just ghosts you is not a good mentor. It's someone that when you reach out, they know that you've got something to talk about. And even if they can't talk at that moment, they're going to get back to you at a time they can, and just be respectful of that. So I think that's very important.
Yeah. How big of a role in your current evolvement or development of your business growth endeavors are your mentors playing today?
Fundamental, I would say. Obviously, just at times where the business has been tough, or I'm not sure I'm making the right decision, they can help almost shed either sometimes a different point of view, and obviously that can be tough sometimes when you're like you're the business owner, and you have opposing views to your mentor, and you're like, oh damn, I'll just give it a go type thing. But yeah, I would say fundamental to business success and growth. I know like Kazra, one of the guys who has been chatting recently. Also, James Dooley and a bunch of other guys are his sort of mentors. And again, if you look how far he's came in the last sort of 12 months, it's like huge growth, huge almost swings.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think for me, it was a lot more present in my e-commerce business, because he had 3 different e-commerce companies he took. I mean, a couple of them went public, and one was acquired by a big national tobacco company in the electronic cigarette space. So for me, it was a lot more present in my business and more relatable when we both had e-commerce companies going. He was like, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried this vendor? Have you tried doing this on social? What about adding this to your site? And those kind of talks we had a lot. I'd tell him about my skincare business, what I was doing there, and he'd tell me about his vape business and what he was doing there. And a lot of times there were synergies and things that we could both learn from each other in that. So he was, we were talking all the time back then. Now he's moved on and basically retired and kind of consults and lets his investments work for him. In the agency thing, though, he's given me ideas on where to network and where to find people that might be better clients for me. So like I said, it was more so in the e-commerce space where we were both doing parallel things, but no, always around and always has sound advice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you guys for sharing these thoughts. I just realized I haven't asked you about one. I believe it's a crucial aspect of, basically for any business that deals with clients, whether individual clients or businesses. How do you approach client work when a customer isn't like a particularly nice guy, or a company that doesn't really have a nice attitude and just being an asshole from time to time?
Well, simple for us, we don't work with them. We're very, very selective who we work with. We've had examples of people buying links from us in the past, sending abuse to team members, and kind of for no reason other than he just doesn't understand SEO. Like, the team were doing a great job, and yeah, I've had to step in on a few occasions where it's kind of like, I'm sorry, we don't tolerate that. See you, there's the door, here's your money back, crack on type thing. We basically have a no tolerance for it. At the end of the day, everyone tries to do the best. 9 times out of 10, the best is going to be better than a business owner who has no idea what marketing is. Like even someone who's been involved in SEO for 3 years should have a lot higher level of understanding of SEO than, a business owner who was fantastic at their trade. So yeah, that's kind of our approach on it. Tim might have a different one, but yeah, we don't tolerate it at all.
I operate the same way. I had someone last week that was, in the pipeline for months, and we spent a lot of time. I gave him a lot of free tips. I told him what to do, what he was doing wrong. And when he finally got around to signing up, he's like, yeah, you'll have the money tomorrow. And then, the call came in and it was, hey, GoDaddy charges this for SEO. Will you match their price? And I said, no. I said, if he said, well, if you can't match it, I'm not going to work with you. I said, go ahead. You'll call me back in 3 or 6 months. I don't deal with that. I can see where it was going. And I was like, I'm fine. And he was like, I'll call you back in the future. I was like, no, don't. Like, it's your decision. You roll with it. You live with it. I don't have time for the wishy-washy. If you're not, I told him, if you're clearly not sold on me, and if you're not, then it's not a good fit. So same way. I operate the same way as Karl. Like, I don't have time for the BS. You're either with me and you can trust me. And if not, then, hey, we'll part ways.
Is there a way to preliminarily protect yourself from such cases, or is it always like, oh well, turns out it's not a fit?
We try. I don't know. I would say it's hard to probably preliminary. Obviously, you don't really know. You can't judge a book by its cover, right? So you don't really know what you're getting involved with until you start having a few more chats with it. Kind of like Tim's situation. You've had a few calls, you've shared a few bits of knowledge, and you kind of you get a feeling, right? Like Tim, you'd probably already got a feeling probably a couple of times in your gut. I'm not sure this guy's going to be a fit, but you try to just ignore that, right?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Benefit the doubt. But yeah, I don't know. It's really tough to figure them out. Sometimes, obviously, also from the flip side, obviously, we're looking at a point where, Tim's got a bunch of his own assets and had exits. I've got a bunch of my own assets and had exits. Now, if you're an agency where you might have just started and you're brand new, you might have to accept those types of customers. But,
right,
I would just say accept them until you get better ones, and then maybe reject them after that, or try and educate them a bit more, because sometimes it is just education. Sometimes people are just dicks. Like that's it. Sometimes they are just assholes. But it just sort of happens. I don't know. It's one of them. It's a difficult situation, especially for new agency owners, I would say, where you just need money in. Whereas I know from ourselves personally, we're not in that situation. So
yeah, if they seem like they're unmanageable or they're going to be judging everything, wait, this is only a DA19 link. Well, no. You're gonna get all sorts of different stuff. Just come on, I
think another thing as well, Tim's probably doing like an 80-20 on your business every so often. So is this customer? Am I spending 80% of my time on this customer? Yes. How much is this customer earning us?
Right.
Not enough. So guess what? It's probably worth us getting rid of this customer and spending the rest of the time on these guys who aren't asking for anything, right?
Right. So true.
Oh, interesting. What do you see like let's say something like emerging trends as pivotal for agencies looking to grow in the next couple of years, considering the latest developments in the industry?
Trends as in what, like YouTube and like faceless AI stuff like that, or
in general? I mean, whatever you think could whatever you think could go this way or the other way, and like that could be a good thing to consider before starting to look for opportunities to grow, let's say.
I think from our perspective is, developing a brand is going to become fundamental and key, because you can launch websites after websites after websites, but you need that person, you need that face, you need the expertise, you need all of that you gain over time. It isn't a thing that you gain by tomorrow. Yes, you can probably spam the internet and try and leverage that, but it's something that over time, you'll be in masterminds, various different events, and obviously mingling with different people, and you establish a reputation that way, I think. And that's something that isn't going to change. And if anything, is going to increase the need of, because of AI and the ability to produce content on, such a scale and things like this, I think. If that's the sort of question you're asking, I don't fully know if that was the question.
That was the question. Yeah.
Yeah, those are all good points. And I think also just with all the uncertainty with search, we've been saying this forever, oh, SEO's dead, SEO's dead. You hear it every year, there's always an update, someone gets mad and it floats their SEO's dead, but I think Matt Diggity was really on point. He said something a few months ago that he's expanding his reach into doing, more YouTube, more paid search, other services. And I've always done other services, but they've never been a focus. But I think now kind of, if it's offering, and not only that, but just more mastery of it, whether it's even bringing someone in to do paid campaigns. I do PPC for localized stuff, but in a global brand, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it. I'd bring someone in. So I think just having more core skill sets other than just, on-page technical SEO and link building would be advantageous to grow, just so you don't get left behind. If another trend picks up, if like every result on Google's homepage turns into YouTube videos, well, you better know how to rank a YouTube video. You never know. So I do a lot on YouTube, and I like it. I like where that's heading. So I think just diversifying your skill sets, that could be anything that considered a digital marketing campaign, would be really good, and building assets along the way. Because I know Karl has a lot, I have a lot. Having those are just like the backbone, for link building, for social proof, and everything you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds very reasonable. What would you advise to new agencies that are looking to get more clients, expand their teams, grow their budgets, and income as well? What are the things you would advise them to focus on in the first place?
I think
just pick one.
Go ahead, Karl.
I was going to say, just pick sort of one avenue of traffic and then focus your time in that potentially. Because sometimes I think people swap because they've spoke to a friend. Let's say, for instance, you start on Facebook and you start going through the different groups and building that up, and maybe even creating your own group and trying to grow that. But what people then start to hear is they speak to someone else who's doing great on YouTube. So then they think, oh, well, I'll also do YouTube. I was actually chatting to Mads today on this, and it's fine to do that, but do not stop the Facebook element because you think the grass is going to be greener doing YouTube. Add to it. Don't stop doing the Facebook though, if that makes sense. So try and stick with almost stick with what you know initially, and then expand out after that, either by hiring the right people who have experience in that element, kind of what Tim was alluding to with his mentors. They've got their experience there, or just keep consistent with the one platform.
And the question was about, if you're starting an agency, the growth, right? What to do to continue growing. Yeah, I think if you're just starting out, you've got to network. You've got to, like Karl said, master one thing that you can offer, but network. Your neighbors next door to you should know exactly what you do and how you execute. They should know you help businesses rank in Google or whatever it is you're doing. Going to networking meetings, get your name around town, because I heard a quote a long time ago and it's always stuck with me. You're always one introduction away from changing your life entirely. Whether it's getting a client that just has crazy money and something you can deliver for, or finding a partnership, or even a business partner. You're always one handshake, one drink away from meeting someone that, hey, this just works. Let's go. So I think getting out there, rather than just sitting in front of your computer all day, hoping for the best, you got to get out there and mingle. You got to go shake hands, kiss babies, that whole thing, and good things will happen. But if people don't know what you do and you're not out there doing it, you're kind of waiting for that reactive business to come to you. And, people should know, they're at a bar. Hey, who's the guy that does all the traffic? Oh, him, everyone should know, oh, this guy's a plumber, you know those kind of things. But as internet marketers, some people just see us, they don't know what the hell we do, like it's just the fact of it. So you got to be loud about it, is my advice.
It's like the Chandler Bing effect, right? No one knew what he did.
Totally.
That was a good one. That was a really good one. Yeah. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, your ideas, your experience on everything. There's been a lot of golden nuggets, and as Robert puts it, Robert Nichel, diamonds in the rough. Diamonds in the rough. Either way, before we wrap this up, are you traveling anywhere, like to any events until the end of the year? There's going to be the one in Manila at the end of September. Then there's going to be one in Bali, I think, in this December.
Start December.
Yeah, Chiang Mai SEO conference in November. Yeah. You also mentioned this legal SEO, law SEO. What
that's right near here, me in Miami. I know there's a lot of big names going to that one, so that should be cool.
Yeah,
so I won't be attending it, but I'll be hanging out with the guys when they're not presenting.
Nice. So are you traveling anywhere? Are you attending any of these events, or maybe other events that I haven't mentioned?
Yeah, so I'm going to Turkey next week, but it's like a private mastermind type thing. That's like Korea's side. So I think there's about 24 of us all going. So that'll be pretty cool, knowledgeable, kind of mingling with some of the top sort of semantic SEO guys in the world, arguably. So that'd be pretty cool. And then other than that, just Chiang Mai for me. But obviously this year I've got honeymoon coming up, but literally in I get back, and then the week after we're away on a honeymoon for I think about 8 weeks or something. So
Ooh.
Yeah,
2 honeymoons.
That's great.
A long time away.
That's awesome. What about you, Tim?
I have nothing planned coming up other than seeing the guys in Miami, and then after that, Affiliate Summit West in Vegas. I'll be there for sure.
Oh, that's cool. By the way, speaking of the Manila conference, World of Search, it starts on September 26th and goes through September 29th. Stephen Kana, who is also our mentor, he's going to speak there, as well as Kazra, who's also an Odys mentor. But Steve is also going to be there as our sort of representative on our behalf. So if you're there in Manila during these dates, make sure to drop by our booth there and talk to Steve. By the way, he's also, I don't know if you've seen that, but he's also started his new role as head of growth at Endorsely, which is a new project by Jamie IF, and I'm not sure, but I believe James Oliver. There could be someone else as well, but these two guys are involved as well. And of course, we're gonna be in Chiang Mai in November, so make sure to drop by and say hi and talk to us. Guys, once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, taking the time to do this. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and finally to have you both in one panel. you haven't overlapped previously.
Right. Anytime, Vlad. Good to see you again.
Good time, mate.
Same, man. All right. Cheers, everyone. Until next time.